Hello and welcome to the Brunton podcast series. Today we are looking at corrugated starch additives, modifiers, and I'm delighted to be joined by Seth. Seth is CEO of ChromaScape. June represents the first anniversary of a big acquisition, and so Seth, thank you for joining me today. Let's start just giving our listeners a little bit of background. Tell me a little bit about ChromaScape.
Great, thanks for the introduction, Dan, and thanks for having me today. So ChromaScape, the roots of the organization date back to the late 1990s. The original company was called Amerimulch, which was the innovator that helped invent the colored mulch market. So for U.S. customers, colored mulch is a rite of passage for us in the spring, where we put it on our garden beds and make our houses look sharp. It's less of a global business, but has become a very large business here in the United States. About a decade later, we purchased a business called Solution Dispersions, which got us into the ink market. So these are that business at that point was carbon black dispersions going into black ink. So your Amazon boxes, anything that's got a black ink on it, we are the largest producer of black water-based dispersions for that market. And then in 2020, in the early days of the exciting COVID pandemic, we purchased a business called Greenville Colorants. That got us into the dye market, which is provided a very strong industry to the paper industry, and also strengthened our positions in mulch and ink, as they had product lines that were very complementary to those two markets for us. At that point, each of these three businesses had been family owned and operated, and our board began to look seriously at upgrading the leadership team. So in 2021, we really professionalized the leadership ranks, and just about all senior leaders in ChromaScape are today been with the organization just since 2021. So, and we all bring extensive experience in the paper, coatings, inks, and colorants markets.
So Seth, we referenced June 2022. You guys made the acquisition of CEL Chemical. Give us a little bit of background to CEL. Obviously, very well known in the North American market. Tell us a little bit about the history and also why you felt that CEL Chemical was a good fit for you guys.
So we became aware of CEL Chemical in early 2021, shortly after I joined ChromaScape. The Messenger family had brought in a broker to consider selling the business. And though we weren't at that point directly involved with the corrugating industry, we do sell a good bit of dye into the converters of linerboard. So we knew that it was a growing, innovative market. We saw the boom in that market during the pandemic, as we also did. And we really appreciated the CEL story, which had a strong history in the corrugating market. They developed some really innovative products, a couple of patented products, which was appealing to us. And we felt that we could use the back office and technical strength that we'd built within the paper market to help drive incremental growth on top of that business. We had discussions with the Messenger family throughout 2021. And as you noted, Dan, the June of 2022, it kind of came together as the right time for everybody for us to purchase the business.
So why did you feel that CEL was a good fit for the company? Because obviously you said not huge amounts of experience in the corrugated industry. So why did you feel it was a good fit?
So when we looked at CEL, a couple things stood out. First, very similar, the outline I provided of the history of ChromaScape, very similar background for CEL Chemical, an innovator and a disruptor within the corrugated chemical markets, a really just great history of innovation and customer service. But when we looked at what was holding their growth back, it was that back office function and really a succession planning issues that they were having in terms of who was going to take over the business, as Jim was getting a little more senior in age and looking to maybe go back a step. We really felt that we had, our customer service, technical service, and supply chain functions that at that point were very well built out and professionalized, would be immediately beneficial to the business. We also have a very strong sales and tech service team here in North America that covers that paper market, very strong overlap with the geographies that the major sheet feeders and sheet plants are located in. So our expectation was to leverage that service capability and geographic distribution to drive additional resources, to drive additional relationships and sales growth.
And Seth, when you think about the corrugated industry, as you know, you're 12 months in now. I mean, it's a very mature market, well-established players. How have you found it, sort of getting to know your customers and getting to know the prospects? Because, as I say, it's a very mature, quite closed industry. So how have you found that sort of entry into this exciting world of corrugated?
So it's certainly been a learning experience. As you point out, it is a very tight-knit industry. There are no secrets, and everybody knows each other. When I think about the industry, it's an interesting blend of very high tech yet cost focused, which you don't necessarily see those two things together. The big producers are amazing in how they drive efficiency and leverage their resources. There's no faking it in this market. The customers know their business inside and out, and you have to bring demonstrable performance data in order to earn their business. That said, you can earn the business. If you've got a better mousetrap, if you can show your performance, then you're going to win new business. And we've been good. You know, I think that really plays to our strengths as an organization. We are analytical. We're fact-based. We expect our sellers to be demonstrating tangible value to our customers. Winning on price alone is not a real victory. The next guy's going to come in and cut the price further. So we look to ensure that each of our new business closes, either in the mulch market, the paper market, or the corrugating market, have some form of demonstrated value to the customer, and that's played out very well for us so far.
And have there been any significant changes or developments within the business, within the products themselves? I mean, what sort of work have you guys been doing the last 12 months since the acquisition?
Sure. So, you know, the Messenger family has all exited the business. They're either enjoying well-deserved retirements or pursuing new business opportunities. We stay in contact with Jim and Sean and Shale and Charlene. They all are doing their own thing and continue to serve as a resource where we need from a history perspective. We have fully integrated the back office functions, so our customer service and supply chain team and technology teams handle all those issues. And as a result, our on-time delivery and reliability has increased significantly as we've implemented MRP, safety stocks, et cetera. We get very positive feedback from the customer base that, hey, finally, CEL Chemical always had great products, but really was questionable on reliability. We feel very good that we've plugged that gap. If you get an order confirmation from us, it arrives on that day. We are in the tail end of expanding capacity in our Arizona facility. We've talked about this before, Dan. We've got an existing facility in Kingman, Arizona, which puts us about 2 hours away from Los Angeles and the large number of corrugators in that market. So we've added a second manufacturing facility that is in process of being commissioned right now and should come online later this month, early in June. And we are at that point, we'll be proud to make the claim that we're the only supplier of corrugated chemicals with a full second facility and the redundancy and supply security that comes along with that. The RSM 2000 product is a product that has long been in our suite of a portfolio of products. We've done some really good work with key business partners in the corrugating industry to show how the addition of that in your starch kitchen can significantly reduce your use of starch. Obviously, there's a shortage, and there's the highest cost piece that our customers are managing. And we've seen about a reduction of 3 to 4% of starch for the customers that have implemented RS 2000. So we've seen very nice growth in that market the first 5-6 months of this year. And then I guess the last point I'd highlight is we are making improvements in the existing and the new manufacturing lines. So trying to take some of the art out of manufacturing. Manufacturing should be more science, more repeatable. So we're putting in processing controls, data loggers, some advanced filtration, all with the goal of improving the quality and consistency of the product that we put out to the markets.
So, Seth, obviously, with the opening of the second facility in Arizona, I guess it's speed to market. Then you're closer to the customers right across the US, and I guess doubling capacity, or what sort of increase in capacity would you feel would be achievable in the next 12 months with Arizona coming online?
Sure. So we have no capacity constraints. We actually have excess capacity today in the Piedmont facility. Uh, the messengers had done a nice job of selectively picking up some assets and adding some capacity. So those remain installed and offline right now. So this is really, at this point, we could triple our sales and have adequate capacity. So we look forward to reaching that threshold, and all that is on a single shift. So we can easily add other second and third shifts, of course. So really, when we look at next year and the balance of this year, it's really about optimizing the distribution strategy, making sure that the customers are getting the best product in the best period of time, taking the freight component out, which is freight's, even though freight has come down in 2023, it's still a major cost component for all of us. So that's really where we're focused on the new facility.
And I know that we had a couple of minutes before we started recording, and you've got some really exciting news to release to us. So tell us about the latest deal.
So May 4th, so just shy of 3 weeks ago, we closed on the acquisition of the Kemira dye and pigment dispersion business. Excuse me. So this was a product line carve out from Kemira. Kemira is a Finland-based company, strong participant in the paper chemical market. This was a non-strategic product line for them. They'd announced that several years ago that they'd like to divest their dye and paper pigment dispersion market business. Excuse me. And we had been in discussions with them for the past year. We're able to successfully close that acquisition on May 4th. So very excited to add the product line and the Kemira people to our business. We also bring a new manufacturing facility online with that transaction based in Bushy Park, which is just outside of Charleston, South Carolina.
And Seth, this is your first step outside of the US with that acquisition?
It is. We have a nice team being in Cologne, Germany. We have a beautiful paper chemistry lab in Cologne where we can do color development and shade matching. And we're in the process of building out our sales team. But we have a very strong back office function in Europe, and look forward to, that's a 2024 growth initiative for us, is translating the corrugated product line that we purchased from CEL and looking to translate that into Europe. Because it's heavily water-based, it almost certainly happens through a toll production arrangement. We are beginning to evaluate production partners in Europe. We think that that's a splash we'll make early next year.
Mm-hmm. And is there any sort of significant differences when you start looking at the chemistry and the science behind things? When you're looking in the European market, obviously high proportion of recycled fiber, recycled containerboard. Is it similar technologies that you're using, whether it's virgin or recycled?
Yeah, what's interesting is because of the high use of recycled content in Europe, we actually have typically use a more sophisticated dye dosing system that allows for kind of on-the-fly adjustments as that stream changes due to the different feedstocks coming in. So yeah, too long and nerdy of an answer, but the short answer is yes, that there are some differences in the European market versus the US market.
Well, Seth, thank you so much indeed. It's been fantastic catching up with you. Congratulations on the latest acquisition.
Thank you.
It shows just how fast time seems to be ticking. 12 months on CEL Chemical already. So congratulations, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Europe, I'm sure, in the not too distant future.
Dan, I appreciate your time this morning, and great to catch up with you.